live. Bomani Jones, Plasma One. Is that what this has come to? Tim Calishaw, New York. Michael Smith right over there. Bob Ryan back and forth. Gentlemen, today. The picks to pick with or pick against. Ooh. No pick. No pick. No. Also, we have the orangutan who picks the winners. Looks like Calishaw on Radio Row. He even has a goatee. Also, the end of an era of enormous consequences in the NBA. Let's do this.
So they talk about Calishaw, not me.
Well, Calishaw's got the goatee.
It's Around the Horn. Here's Tony Reali.
First time ever for this lineup in show history. Could get awkward here. Tim and Bob, you've been in New York all week for the Super Bowl?
Yes, sir.
Calishaw's been touring with his stomach. $23 roast beef sandwich. Good reporting there. Bob, forgive me, but just got an excellent $3 shoe shot in Midtown Manhattan. Don't knock New York City to me ever. And also, in case you missed, Gravity, lucky you. It's the most overrated piece of crap put out by Hollywood this year. Scientifically faulty, too, I might add.
So wrong.
Sorry about that. Here's the points. Let's go to work.
It's the first word.
Okay, now to sports. The weather outside will be weather. The game will be the game. One group of stats from me, and then I'll hang up and listen. In Super Bowl history, teams that were the number one offense in the NFL, 10-8. Teams that were the number one defense in the NFL, 12-3. And when number one offense is playing number one defense, it's 3-1 defense. So, the question to start here for Super Bowl 48. Would you rather have the Broncos offense or the Seahawks defense, Bomani Jones?
I'd rather have the Seahawks defense, and it sounds a little bit crazy to say because the Broncos, by most statistical measures, put up the best offense of all time during the regular season. But do you really want the precision passing attack out there throwing the ball around when it starts getting colder and colder as the night goes? Seattle's defense also seems to line up with teams around the top 10. Bill Barnwell at Grantland had a great column outlining that. And when you look at what that defense could do and the talent they have, going against a Denver team that is well as they've executed, they're not going to challenge you so much down the field. Playing against a really good secondary, I'd bet on that defense.
So you're
this
on
time
the
over the
defense
offense.
here. You brought up the weather, even though now we're hearing temperatures could be at 50 at kickoff. Calishaw, what are you hearing from Radio
I'm
Row?
aware of some of those numbers you threw around, but anytime I've got a chance to take Peyton Manning and that offense and those receivers and the way Noshawn Moreno and Monty Ball have been lately, give me the team that's averaging 37 points a game. The weather is not going to be a factor. It's going to be 40 and 45, whatever. And, yeah, it's a precision passing game, but it's a very short passing game. Peyton Manning knows how to find people in all sorts of circumstances. Nobody is prepared to see
you'd rather be the offense. How about you, Mike Smith?
Yeah, short passing game, Tim, that relies a lot on yards after the catch, which is why I'm taking Seattle's defense, the best defense in the league in terms of limiting receivers' yards after the catch. Tony, I love the forgetting Sarah Marshall reference you made off the top. The weather outside is weather. One of my favorite scenes is when he's trying to learn how to serve. It's like, do less. Do less. The difference between Peyton Manning doing so much at the line of scrimmage and a Seattle defense that just lines up and says, this is what we're going to do. We're rushing four. We're never going to blitz, and we will get pressure with four people. And pressure has a way of making Hall of Fame quarterbacks look average. And I think that front four of Seattle can rattle Peyton Manning. They're not going to let receivers get loose. I'd rather have Seattle's defense in this situation.
Two defense, one with offense. Bob Ryan, where are you on this?
I am with the Seattle Seahawks defense because it is not based on gimmicks or on technique or on schemes. It's based on raw physical talent, the best secondary in the NFL. I don't even know who the defensive coordinator is. Is it Buddy Ryan? I'm not sure. All I know is that this team's defense has been equally good away from the noisy place as it was in the noisy place. This is a neutral place. I like them. And if they allow them to mug, it's over. And we all know it. All five of us know that if the referees referee the way they've been refereeing in the playoffs, it's over. Seattle's winning.
Calishaw wants back in.
I have lots of respect for the Seattle defense, but it has played one good offense, one offense that ranked in the top 10 all year, New Orleans. Now, they played well against the Saints, but the Saints almost made a run at them. You saw at the end of that game, they haven't faced an offense like
Jones back in.
Yeah, but go look at the defenses that Denver happened to play. It's one of the easiest slates of opposing defenses that anybody else in the league has seen. You can say that on both sides, but you said you can't pass up the chance at Peyton Manning in a game like this. Man, where you been the last 15 years? I mean, it hasn't always worked out so well.
Well, the
Smith
defensive
after the
coordinator is Dan Quinn. It's not Buddy Ryan, Bob. But Buddy Ryan's defense, the 85 Bears, was the last defense to lead the league in points allowed, yards allowed, and takeaways. This defense does it all. They stop the run well. They're physical. I just think they're going to be able to rattle Peyton and make him look like, well, hate to say it, but postseason Peyton of old.
So 1 for offense and 3 for defense. Yesterday we specifically focused on Peyton-Sherman matchup. I expect your guts to be Peyton or Sherman here, but your guts have surprised me before. Most important player on the field, Bob Ryan?
It's the Peyton Manning, obviously, because that's the description. All anybody talks about with Denver is Peyton Manning, and then, yeah, he's got great receivers, but it's about Peyton Manning. What if, dare I put this forth, he has an off day? What if he's not 100%? What if he's 85%? It's not going to get it done. He has an enormous pressure on him to be A++ guy in this particular game. He is the most important guy in the field. I don't know how you can say anybody else is.
Mike Smith, you agree with Bob there?
Well, I get where Bob is coming from, and maybe this is me trying to be too cute, but I'm going to take Percy Harvin, and then you say, well, how is he the most important guy on the field when he hasn't been on the field that much this season for the Seattle Seahawks? But
yeah, how do you do that?
He's the type of player with the versatility and the ability. I wouldn't surprise me if Seattle were to win this game, which I believe it will, if he were the MVP, because Seattle will have to score some points to beat Denver. The guy that led the league in yards after the catch when he was with the Vikings 2 years ago. He opens everything up for the offense. He can take a short pass, take it to the house.
So your most important player on the field, someone's only been on the field for 33 snaps all season.
And you have to account for him. He only needs a couple of touches to make an impact. I think he will have some big plays in this game.
I think the key player is going to be Marshawn Lynch. He needs to make a statement in this game. He's had a lot of trouble making statements this week. But if he can do anything like he's done in the first 2 playoff games where he had 249 yards rushing, and I don't think he's going to get around 120 yards, but if he can be make a big play guy, keep the chains moving, then I think Seattle has a chance to win.
Bomani Jones.
Well, for the stories people like to write and the stories people love to tell, it would be Peyton Manning. But the more important quarterback in this game is going to be Russell Wilson. If Peyton Manning is off his game, I can still reasonably presume that he'll be pretty good. Russell Wilson hasn't had a pretty good game in quite a while. In the last 4 that he's played in QBR, which is indexed from 0 to 100, he hasn't had one over 40. You go look at the good game that Russell Wilson's played, it's hard to find. He's had games where he's missed receivers. You've had games where he's missed a chance to run the ball, and they need him to play reasonably well. He does not have to play great, but do you think Seattle can win a Super Bowl if he does not show up or if he plays as poorly as he done in his off weeks in the last couple of months?
Fill in this sentence, guys. If blank happens, this team will win. Michael Smith?
If Russell Wilson is going to have a good game, which they would have to do for Seattle to win, Percy Harvin will have to be a factor.
And you inferred before you've got Seattle. How about you, Bob Ryan?
Yes.
If the referees referee the way they're refereeing in the playoffs, Seattle will roll.
Bomani Jones?
If Russell Wilson can hit on a couple of big plays, they will win.
Tim Kalishaw.
If Seattle can stop Denver's run with 7 like they usually do, Seattle will win.
So does everybody have Seattle in this game then? Is that what just happened? Is that everybody? Okay, Bob. Tim, you seem to be
reluctantly, very reluctantly.
Oh, boy.
So you've all made your picks. Okay.
Might switch.
One more thing that might change your mind with your picks. 2 experts in the field weighing in. Sir Patrick Stewart and Sir Ian McKellen.
That's the new X-Men movie.
You think McKellen would like defense? You shall not pass.
I thought that was Woody. I didn't know he knew.
All right, that's enough. It's not changing any of your minds. That's fine. We're going to take a break. Buy or sell next. Coming up, David Stern, choked up about his last day on the job. Stick around.
That's how you send the man out. That's how you send him out.
It was just real. It was just there.
Buy or sell.
One thing Colin Kaepernick might have to work on going forward. Timing! Kaepernick calling Richard Sherman's comments ridiculous, saying they came from Sherman's own insecurities, calling the play a matter of inches, and he's rooting for the Broncos Sunday. Buy or sell Kaepernick here, Bomani?
Gotta sell it. There's the grand irony of him talking about somebody else's insecurities as he showed up in New York to whine about the dude who's actually in the Super Bowl. Okay. It's just not a good look and never a good look when you're the quarterback. Just gotta let this ride.
I'm buying the fact that he said he's looking forward to Peyton getting his 2nd ring. I'm selling that he did go too far with it. Make a few funny comments. He seemed to get angrier and angrier the more he talked about it.
Mike Smith.
Yeah, I got to sell it. He had no issues mocking Cam Newton's touchdown celebration in Carolina when his team was winning. You're at home. Sherman's moved on. Bottom line, and nothing you say will change this, Colin, you shouldn't have tested Richard Sherman, regardless if the throw was right or not.
Sorry, no. He did the right thing. Crabtree is not mediocre. He's right about the inches. And the fact is that the play was a tip. And if his teammate wasn't there to catch the ball, we'd still be playing.
Yeah, and if it was a fifth, we'd all be drunk.
Bomani Jones.
You know what?
Pow! We'll move on. Buy or sell two. The report from Chad Ford that Kyrie Irving has been telling people privately he wants to leave the Cleveland Cavaliers. This is on a chat in ESPN Insider. Timing here is Cleveland can offer him an extension this summer, and he can't become an unrestricted free agent until 2016. Irving last night to people publicly, quote, "I'm pretty sure I'm going to be here for a long time," end quote. You think Irving did enough last night to downplay the story, Kalisha?
Well, I think he did all he really can do, short of signing an extension, which he's not going to do, and he has no reason to do. He does have to recognize he's in the most paranoid sports city there is in terms of losing players and losing
Rightfully so,
games. Rightfully so, yes. What they've been
What
through.
would happen if Cleveland were to lose Irving after losing LeBron?
Well, it'd be, it wouldn't be anything like LeBron, but it'd be an awful thing for him.
Mike Smith.
Well, I don't think they're going to lose him the exact same way because Dan Gilbert learned his lesson. He's probably going to move him
You think Dan Gilbert learned his lesson?
About letting the guy walk for practically nothing. Yeah, he's already been on record as saying that. So Kyrie Irving is right, exactly. He's going to trade him. Dan Gilbert, Kyrie Irving is not going to sign an extension, and I don't believe him. He needs more people in this case because why would you enjoy being in Cleveland when you're 61 and 133 since they drafted you and 16 and 30 this year? He's miserable, but he can't say anything.
Bob Ryan. No one in his position could convince any of us that he means it. Can't. It doesn't make any logical sense that he would want to stay in Cleveland for the reasons that Michael Smith just said. It's not happening, so we can't believe him. The only way he proves it, sign the 4-year extension today.
They ain't doing it.
And he's not doing it, right, Bob?
No.
Okay. Bomani Jones.
Yeah, no. Nobody believes him for all the obvious reasons. Funny, people think LeBron's going to go to Cleveland while Kyrie seems to be trying to get himself out. The real question is this. If Dan Gilbert made the decision to trade him, would that be better for the Cavaliers? This year, they have a better point differential with Irving off the floor than they have with him on the floor.
Yeah,
what's there exactly to keep here?
Well, wait, don't say what they're exactly.
No, I'm saying
Irving is an elite player in the NBA.
He's an all-star. Yeah. He's not a superstar and has not demonstrated that yet.
Okay. Buy or sell three. David Stern's last day. From Sweet Sassy Mustachey to the lottery to expansion and unmatched growth to lockouts, plural, to the dress code, to basketball reasons and enormous consequences, to trolling the draft and now unmatched financial boom. You guys have seen it all with Stern, so what do you buy? What do you sell from his era, Michael Smith?
I buy that David Stern made a lot of enemies along the way, but he made a lot of people rich. I believe the revenue when he came into the league was like $30 million a year. Now it's up to $1 billion. We all know about the globalization of the game. He knew that he had to market players, and he did so better than anybody.
Bob Ryan.
He was the happy beneficiary of the presence of Magic and Larry at their peak, and then here comes Michael. But he was the CEO as the league went from, if not necessarily a mom-and-pop grocery store, but a chain of small convenience stores into the international conglomerate that it is today, and he gets full credit for supervising that.
And
growth.
how does he leave the league, Bob?
Far better than when he found it.
Okay. Bomani Jones?
Well, look, there's the growth of the league that you certainly have to buy, and he was the smiling face behind the Michael Jordan era when we all loved David Stern. After time, he got a little bit older, a little bit more crotchety. People didn't like him as much, but don't forget, he had the difficult task of selling that league to this public. That's never easy for the NBA, and look at the growth they've had in perception in the last 10 years, and a lot of that had to do with the initiatives put forward by David Stern.
Kalisha.
I'm going to buy that I was watching the Sonics Bullets NBA Finals on tape delay before he got here, and he made it a players' league, which isn't always a good thing. That can backfire at times, but it's a far better league than the one.
What do you think of Stern? What's the one thing you'll think of, Kalisha?
The lottery.
Me too. But speaking of which, can he still do the
Back
draft?
in that envelope inside the thing.
Just come back and do the draft. That's all I need him for.
Come back with the mustache. Bob Ryan, 20. This was a good one today, but you are the first to go. What's the last word?
It's a new year, but plus ça change, plus c'est la même chose.
Yeah. Anyone speak French?
I caught a couple of those.
The more things change, the more things stay the same. Okay. I think he's talking about his wins. The man with the highest win percentage in show history at 31.9%. Jones, Kalisha, Smith. That's our lightning round. Coming up, say it with me for Bob so he can hear it. Snubs! Snubbiness! Snub my grubs! Snubberoo! Electric Boogaloo! Stick around. Jones 22, Kalisha 21, Smith 21. Anybody's ball game apparently in the lightning round. Let's do that. Lowry, Davis, Dragic, Aflalo, Lancelot, Boogie, all out for the All-Star game. Lancelot Boogie sounds like Don Cornelius' fill-in on Soul Train when he was on Pimp League. You guys know how this works. You want a weep for a snub? Have to cut a reserve. Monty, go ahead.
All right, the snub is Anthony Davis. I mean, how many guys are going to put up 20, give you almost 10.5 boards and 3.3 blocks and not make the All-Star team? Who do you take off? Dirk Nowitzki. Somebody's got to go, and his 21 points and 6 boards is the one I take off.
Davis, how about you, Kalisha?
Harsh words for Dirk there. I would take Joe Johnson off. I would put Lance Stevenson. You just talked about him. You just showed him a key guy on the Pacers. Not great numbers, but 4 triple-doubles.
Who gets triple-doubles like he does? Go ahead, Mike Smith.
You had it half right, Tim. I would take off Joe Johnson and put in Kyle Lowry, arguably the best point guard in the Eastern Conference this year on a surprising Toronto team. Why not have 2 Raptors? You already got 2 Pacers. I think the Anthony Davis situation will work itself out because Kobe's going to be replaced. Although Davis is not a guard, they got to get the hometown kid in New Orleans.
That's what always happens here. We all get all worked up about the snubs, and then somebody gets hurt and they get replaced. We're like, oh, that was stupid. Peace, love, and Lancelot Boogie. We'll move on. Lightning 2. St. Louis Rams owner Stan Kroenke purchasing land in Los Angeles, what's been called a football stadium-sized area of land. You people do this every time, but are you thinking there's something or nothing here, Kalisha?
I think there's a little bit of something. I know the NFL uses L.A. as a threat to scare other teams, but he's got the land. Hate to see that Walmart not being built there, but it's going to happen eventually.
Now, you say that the NFL uses it as a threat. Would the NFL be better or worse with a team in L.A.?
It'd be better. Eventually, they need a team in L.A. It's silly not to have.
And it would come full circle if it were the Rams, of course. Like some people, listen, poker's their game of choice. Mine is spades. This isn't exactly Kroenke's big joker, but he just dropped the ace of spades, okay? We don't know what other cards he had in his hand right now because they have to, according to their contract, they have to get a top-tier stadium. So one way or the other, he's getting his new stadium in St. Louis.
If you're a Rams fan, how do you feel right now, Mike?
I'm nervous.
Okay.
I'm really nervous. They took it out of L.A. They can send it back.
Look, I lean toward nothing because we've been playing this game in Los Angeles for the last 20 years. It's going to take more than you telling me you got land for a stadium to pop this up. I think the area is more valuable to the league as a threat, and I really don't like the fact that Kroenke is taking away the people-watching joy that would have been a Walmart in Inglewood. That's what the community needs.
Inglewood was said, and not one of you guys said Inglewood up to no good. What
has
become of this show right now?
Mackin', hanging, right, Bo?
Well, Monty Jones not macking nor hanging right now. What's the last word, Bo?
I mean, nobody pops in with Inglewood up to no good. You didn't take any points away from them, and now I got to leave because of their...
You were the one who left it hanging. All right. There we go. The Shaw. Smith. Showdown next. 2 enter. Only one ends the week with a win. Straight ahead.
It still feels good.
The 8th who picked the last 6 Super Bowls correctly, doing the damn thing. Ford. And there were 2. Tim Kalisha, Michael Smith. 3 quick ones, 30 seconds of FaceTime. Good luck to the winner. Fred Couple, Showdown 1. He's a Seahawks fan and on a hunch bought Super Bowl tickets 6 months ago. But with a late flurry yesterday, he made the cut in Dubai. So his dilemma, no longer a dilemma. He's choosing golf over the game and eating the 50-yard line tickets. If you were Couples, Kalisha, golf or game?
It's an easy pick. Golf, look at the weather there. When you've got that sweet swing, keep making those cuts, keep pocketing those checks. Watch the game on your big screen.
You got to renounce your status as a Seahawks fan, Fred Couples. You're no longer a member of the 12th man. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Seattle's never won a championship, and you're playing golf in Dubai? Man, you better be in the game somewhere.
I'm fine with him playing golf. That's what he does for a living. But how many cuts do you think he's made, Kalisha, in his career? 600?
Hundreds
600 maybe? Yeah.
Priorities.
One Super Bowl right now. We'll give the point to Smith. Showdown 2, pot roast. Trevor Knighton will line up against Seattle's Max Unger Sunday, and he said he's Googling him to find out his favorite food, favorite color, siblings, etc., in order to better trash talk. Is that fair or foul, Michael?
It's fair when you're a massive individual whose nickname is Pot Roast because Max Unger ain't trying to fight you. So it's necessary. Super Bowl title on the line, you do whatever you got to do to get an edge.
I think it's foul. That should not be his priority. It's going to be the guy running by him. Unger, Marshawn Lynch, figuring out how to tackle him. That's the key for Terrence Knight.
It's fine for him to do this, but get some better stuff than favorite food and favorite color. I mean,
At least he's keeping it clean.
An ape named Eli has correctly predicted the winner of the last 6 Super Bowls. He picked the Seahawks this year. In the last World Cup, Paul the Octopus picked 8 straight winners, including Spain. Paul, now deceased and delicious, living in that great calamari plate in the sky. The question for the point in the game and the future of anthropomorphic pursuits: whose prognostication do you put more faith in, Tim? An ape or an octopus?
You always go with the ape. Back in the 80s, Conda the Great at the Dallas Zoo made picks that were so good it made Peter Jennings on the ABC News Tonight. Go with
Eli picking the Seahawks. That's interesting. But I prefer to go with the more scientific, tried and true method of prognostication. Madden simulations, baby. They picked the Broncos. They've been right 8 out of 10 years.
8 out of 10 years is not 8 out of 8
body of
and
work.
6 out of 6.
Wasn't one of the choices.
Game FaceTime. Tim Callis.
I feel like I owe this one to Conda. Hey, no matter what happens Sunday night, and I do think it'll be a great game, my memory of this Super Bowl will always be going to a baseball stadium to see a hockey game. That happened Wednesday night. I was one of the 50,000 people watching Rangers Islanders. Had a great time watching the game with the snow around. Had a nice chat with my co-NHL commissioner, Gary Bettman. There he is, right there.
Nice.
Oh, look at that deal we had.
Hey.
This thing works. I know you can only do it so much. Love the hockey in the baseball stadium.
Tim, were you
see
one of the
CeeLo?
people that booed CeeLo?
Yeah,
Were you booing
exactly.
CeeLo?
I did not
There
boo
you go.
CeeLo.
Look at
I
that.
did see
all
CeeLo.
deserved.
CeeLo walked by the hall, but
That's
I
going to
did
do
not
it, folks. You can check out our show's Facebook page for the panelists' picks, so you can pick against that. We'll also post it on Friendster and MySpace and everything else.
Not the
71 and a half
Bomani,
hour
they don't know
break.
about
Enjoy
Goody
the
Mouse,
game.
CeeLo.